What's up, everybody? Cowboy C3. This was great. This was great. I said it in the pregame, right? If you just play team football and go out there and just have some fun, just have fun with it. Who cares about the scoreboard? Who cares about anything? Like, just go have fun. You have an opportunity to win a football game. And I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong. I said that I didn't think, and I picked them to get blown out. But you could tell some things. Well, we'll go into the game in just a second. Let's talk about it right now.
Here we go! Yeah, here we go! Wait, take
Cowboys. Throws back of the end zone. There's
What's going on, everybody? Cowboy C3, man. Cowboys pulled one out. I cannot believe they pulled this out. 34-26, man, in a game that started off really, really, really slow. Good defensive battle, which is something that the Cowboys have not been in a long, long time, but a good, strong defensive showing. And they pull it out, man, and survive some crazy, crazy scares. And I got the score down there wrong at the bottom. Don't pay any attention to it. My apologies for that. Cowboys win 34-26. Cooper Rush ends the game 24 of 32 for 247 and 2 touchdowns. Rico Dowdle. Oh, man. Run the football. Run the football. Give Rico an opportunity. 19 carries, 86 yards, 4.5 yards of average. Ezekiel Elliott, 3 carries for 6 yards. CeeDee Lamb had 1 carry for 1 yard. CeeDee Lamb leads receivers, 10 catches, 67 yards. Luke Schoonmaker showed up. Man, I'm telling you, they watched Cowboys spit last night. Everything I said they had to do in order to win this game, offensively and defensively, they went out there and they did it. They did it. Luke Schoonmaker had 3 catches for 55 yards and a great touchdown there at the end of the game. Jalen Brooks, 1 catch for 44 yards. Brevin Spanford, 2 catches for 24 yards. Jalen Tolbert, 2 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, Josh Butler. Josh Butler has an excellent game, got 12 total tackles and a sack. Jordan Lewis had 7 total tackles. Eric Kendrick had 9 total tackles. Michael Parsons had 7 total tackles. And he also had 2 sacks. Offensively, Cowboys, I think the best thing that I saw all day from the offense was, of course, Cooper Rush was efficient. They ran the ball well with Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle took the brunt of the carries, ran the ball extremely well, and that was fantastic, right? That was great. But this pieced together offensive line didn't allow 1 pressure all game. And that says a lot. Offense run. I don't care who your quarterback is. I don't care who your wide receivers are. I don't care who your tight end is. I don't care who your running backs are. It doesn't really matter. Do you need good guys at those positions? Absolutely. You need serviceable guys at those positions. It always helps to have a CeeDee Lamb. That always helps. But if your offensive line is blocking the way that they need to block, right? Just hat on a hat, just get in the way, right? Good things will happen. This is like a testament to all of that. Good things will happen. Give Cooper Rush some time to throw the football. Excuse me. Give Cooper Rush some time to throw the football. Give him a little bit of time. He can be efficient. He threw some. He threw one to CeeDee Lamb in between triple. It was like CeeDee Lamb came on a crossing route from right to left. He threw it in between 3 defenders, and I'm like, no, Cooper Rush, don't throw that. But CeeDee Lamb kind of left his spot and came forward and cut one of the corners off to make the catch and get out of bounds. And I was like, oh, man, that's going for us today. Special teams was horrendous at first. Terrible. Brandon Aubrey gets a kick block. Brandon Aubrey afraid of the same guy, broke free again, kicks the ball, pushes it over a little bit to the right just to try to avoid him from blocking it again, misses a field goal. Brian Angler gets a punt blocked. It was just, but at the same time, Washington's kicker been reliable all year, misses a field goal, misses an extra point, missed the extra point at the end of the game that cost him the game. It was wild in the first half. Defensive struggle, 3-3. I'm getting text on my phone, man. Like, here comes the third quarter. Here comes the third quarter, and it didn't come. It didn't come. They came out in the third quarter, played excellent defense, played serviceable offense, kind of flipped the field position over, and gave themselves a lead. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. You can't do it. At the end of the third quarter, the Cowboys were winning 10-9. I think that's the first time that they've been winning 10-9. I mean, in the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter of a game, I think they said since week 1. No, since the Giants, the first time they played the Giants. That was 5 weeks ago, something like that. Long time. Fourth quarter comes out. They put up 24 points in the fourth quarter on some wild plays. Washington kept answering. They kept answering. Schoonmaker catches a pass. Washington for a touchdown. Great catch, wide open. Great play, read, break, great pass. Cooper Rush almost overthrew it. It was about this far from being overthrown, but he was so wide open, man. It's just one of those things like where you got to put the ball on him, but he almost overthrew it, but he didn't. Schoonmaker scores on the 27-yard touchdown, and Washington comes right back down the field, drives down the field, and scores and brings the game within 3 points again. Kevontae Turpin bobbles the kickoff, picks it up, goes into like a little trot. And I think everybody over here that was watching the game is like, what the hell is he doing? Makes one of the wildest spin moves I've ever seen, hits a seam, and takes it 99 yards for a touchdown. Fantastic play. On the next drive, Jaden Daniels pulls another rabbit out of the damn hat and finds Terry McLaurin running down the sideline wide open. I mean, wide open. Makes some guys miss, scores at that. And that, just thinking about it, I'm like, man, this game is going. I'm already on here making my thumbnail. I'm talking shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing all kinds of things. And I'm like, oh, no, not this. Like, this cannot end like this. Now, Wanye Thomas picks up the onside kick. Well, the kicker misses the extra point. 27-26. You think that'd be the end of the scoring. Like, the game's over right now. They're going to kick an onside kick. We'll recover the onside kick, and the game will be over. Well, Wanye Thomas does what I think anybody would do if you're just excited to have the football and you see a space. He catches the ball, breaks the contain, and it's just nothing but green grass in front of him. And he takes off running. He ends up scoring to give him 34 points. Now, great. That's fantastic. However, if you kneel the ball right there, the game is essentially over. It's done, right? But who cares? Didn't matter at the end. Cowboys kick the ball off. Jaden Daniels throws another Hail Mary, gets intercepted, and the game is over. 241 yards, team yard for the Cowboys, 91 rushing yards. I promise you that the reason that Cooper Rush wasn't under pressure today is because they ran the football efficiently, right? And it kept that pass rush honest. And that's the most important thing. Keep the pass rush honest. Kept it honest. Commanders come in with 266 yards passing, 145 yards rushing. They had a good day running the ball. 3 touchdowns, but those 3 turnovers were costly. Jaden Daniels with 2 picks and the lost fumble right there. I think it was tight end Zach Ertz came across the middle. And the main one that I've been harping on all year long about him being a liability in coverage comes across, punches the ball out, and makes a great play. Makes an excellent play. And you cannot be upset with Donovan Wilson today. He played a great football game. He did. Stepped up, played the run well, especially played the pass well on that one, just came up, punched the ball out. That's what you're taught to do. If you have an opportunity, punch the football out. Great game, great team win. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I'm happy for the win. Probably messed us up on the draft. We probably dropped down to like the 10th or 12th draft pick. But who cares today? Cowboys get a victory. I'm just excited. Mike McCarthy didn't seem overwhelmed. He didn't seem overwhelmed today. If anybody seemed like they were a little bit overwhelmed, it was Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn. They could not get the offense going. And the Commanders have been in kind of a struggle bus these last couple of weeks. It's actually been 3 weeks. They've lost 3 football games in a row. Now, they lost to 2 good football teams. They lost to Pittsburgh and they lost to Philly. But this is a game, and you could tell by the way that they were talking earlier in the week, like this is the game where we're going to put it all together. We'll be back. We'll be back. The offense will look just like it did earlier in the season, and it started off that way. Jaden Daniels has not been very explosive, especially running the football. But on the first drive, I think he had like a 14-yard run where it was just a straight. It was a speed option. He had no intentions of pitching the ball, cut up field, and gain some yards. And I'm like, okay, he looks kind of explosive today. But the Cowboy defense buckled down. Hell, I even saw some Mozzie Smith sightings. That's fantastic. Good job, Mozzie. Way to play football. Golden opportunity. I said it. Golden opportunity for the Cowboys to come in and play some people that don't normally get the opportunity to play. They're hungry, right? They're hungry. Derek, I'll take it too, buddy. Like, seriously, I will take it 100%. Cliff, so I tell you this much, D. Cliff Kingsbury, even when he was in Arizona, and I'm even back in Texas Tech days, with the exception of when Patrick Mahomes was the quarterback, his offenses always start out really, really, really hot, and then they fizzle towards the end of the season. And I think people just kind of figure out their tendencies. So he's one of those type of one of those type of offensive coordinators that don't like to move wide receivers around. Your X wide receiver stays here, your Y stays here, your Z stays here. The tight end is probably the only one that switches from left to right. And you kind of locked in what you can do. You always know where their one receiver is going to be. You always know where the 2 receiver is going to be. And you always know where the 3 receiver is going to be. So you can kind of plan against it. And teams just figured it out. He kind of switched it up a little bit. And Jaden Daniels gives him some freedom because if somebody's not open, Jaden Daniels is excellent at extending plays. So that gives some receivers an opportunity to break open, and he's pretty accurate with the football. So that gave them some opportunities earlier in the season. After Jaden Daniels got hurt, his ribs got busted up, it just hasn't looked the same because he hasn't been willing to extend plays, or he hasn't been willing to run as much. He looked pretty willing to run today at first, but the Cowboys made some adjustments. Oh, man, they did some things today. They made some adjustments and kind of kept him corralled in the pocket. And if you can keep him in the pocket and just turn him into a pocket quarterback, you can see he's okay. He's not terrible. He's okay. Hey, Sports T, I saw what you put on that text message, too, that it was their first win of the season. It's their 4th. Make sure you get that right. It's their 4th, Sports T. But thank you for the congratulations. We appreciate it. So once they start to kind of figure out the tendencies of that offense, it becomes pretty predictable. And if anybody knows anything about predictable offenses, it's probably Cowboy fans. So, yeah, I don't want him as a coach either. Not really. Not as an offensive coordinator. Not even on the staff. He can stay in Washington. That's cool. But yeah, Washington did some things though in the game that were excellent. And we'll talk about their stats too. Jaden Daniels, 25 of 38, 274, 2 touchdowns, but he threw 2 costly interceptions. It cost him. Jaden Daniels had 74 yards rushing. Austin Eckler had 22 yards rushing. I hope Austin Eckler, I saw that on that last kickoff, man. He kind of popped his head out of a hole, out of a crease, and he got hit, and it was definitely helmet to helmet contact, and he got knocked out. 4th does sound like first, Sports T. It does, but it's 3 more than the first one. So, we happy with it. It now, I tell you what, that 4th win of the season did probably dropped them down to probably 12th draft pick right now. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if you think about it, one of the players that really has become really, really a popular opinion with Cowboy news fans, whoever, is to draft Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State, in the first round. And right there in that area, 12 to 15, well, 12 to maybe 20, right? 10 to 20. That's where you would want to draft a running back. You really don't want to draft a running back in the top 5. It does give you some leverage to have a top 5 pick. It gives you some leverage to have a top 5 pick, a top 10 pick anyway. I'm glad we got a win too. It felt pretty good. I almost forgot what it felt like for the Cowboys to win the game. I really did. If you have top 10 draft pick, your top 5 pick, right? It gives you some leverage on some teams that, may want some players that you're not interested in, like a, quarterback, maybe there's some wide receivers that would make it difficult. But I think that Jeanty, especially being a hometown kid, and he seems to be the real deal. I think that, top 5 is just too high to draft a running back. And I mean, you could trade that pick away and maybe swap a first round pick and pick up, a third or fourth round pick and kind of make up for this Mingo trade that you put a fourth round. I was going to say wasted a fourth round pick, but you put another fourth round pick on a guy that, is kind of unproven, but you can still have the opportunity to trade down if you feel like that, a player that you really want may be available in the bottom of the first round. But, who knows? The Cowboys could win out and make it to the playoffs, and we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Okay, let's not even do that, right? I was messing with people here in the house earlier today when they right before they won. I was, Super Bowl bound. We back, baby. Like, nah, we're not doing that, man. This ain't the greatest football team. But if they just put it together with the roster that they have, they can be competitive with some teams. I think you're beginning to see that this Washington train was hot at first, but it's starting to fizzle out, and that's expected. You got a rookie quarterback. They're pretty healthy, to be honest, and I don't think that they won't make the playoffs. I think they'll be a wild card team. I just don't think that anybody is going to be able to knock Philly off of that first, winning the division this year. I don't think that anybody can knock them off. So, but Washington's got some things that they have to put together. This is one of those losses that can be demoralizing, especially to a rival team, and then a rival team that you felt like you were supposed to beat and you didn't. So back to the drawing board. Super glad that they won this game. This is a rivalry game. They got a bunch of dudes on that team that used to be Cowboys, right? And you could see that it was a little bit chippy. And I've noticed this about the Cowboys. If they get in a fight in the first quarter, if they get in a fight, any kind of team, like a team scuffle, they normally come out of it and play pretty well. They do. And they got into it right there at the beginning of the game. Probably, I think it was right after the block field goal. They no, D, they can't do it. They just don't. They don't do nothing right, man. You want them to lose, man, and you like, man, we need this high draft pick, man, and then they come out here and they beat a good Washington team. But their last 2 victories have come against pretty decent football teams. Pittsburgh is a really good team. Washington is a good football team. And against good football teams, they haven't, especially at home this year. I don't know what's going on, and maybe we'll get a home win next week, maybe, or Thanksgiving Day, maybe. But they haven't been very competitive against good football teams. Always seems like they get outplayed, get out coached, get out everything, outworked, out everything. But today, they didn't. They never gave up. They didn't give up at all, and they came out and they fought, especially that defense. They played well. They played exceptionally well. Overshown again was everywhere. Lufi was everywhere. Donovan Wilson was all over the place. Josh Butler was defensive player of the game. Hell, he might win defensive player of the week. He played excellent football, breaking up passes, making tackles, stopping runs. I'm like, damn, man. You know, Deron Bland played pretty good, especially with this being his first preseason game of the year. He played pretty well. You know, this is the first time he's had any action whatsoever. He practiced, I think, the first couple of weeks in training camp, and then the whole foot thing happened. He hadn't even been at practice, but he came out this week, practiced all week, came in the game, and, you know, he was involved. He was involved. And, you know, I'm happy about that. That's good. Get Diggs healthy. You got Bland back now. You get Diggs, you know, get him healthy, get him situated. And, you know, the secondary is pretty good. They're not terrible. Not terrible. Safety play is still kind of wishy-washy, you know, but, you know, Cowboys have been wishy-washy all year. What would it be without the safety being wishy-washy? Offensively, I like the offensive line. Tyler Guyton had another rough game. He did. You know, he had some illegal formations twice, you know, just lining up wrong. But that's all mental stuff, right? That's mental. And, you know, it wasn't like he was getting beat around the edge, you know, and he got called for a holding penalty. I think it kind of hurt his feelings where he wasn't holding. Dorrance Armstrong just ate turf, you know, and Tyler Guyton didn't do anything but fall on top of him. They called him for a hold. It looked like, I guess, from where the referee was standing, it could have looked like he grabbed him and pulled him down. But, you know, they showed the replay. He obviously didn't. But you got to line up correctly. And, you know, they bring Igoba to play the left tackle, and he didn't do a bad job. You know, he didn't do a bad job at all. Played pretty well. You know, so Guyton, even Terrence Steele today, you didn't hear his name get called. He played pretty decent. You know, everybody, that whole offensive line, even though it's all pieced together with Band-Aids, you know, they played well. Didn't play bad at all. Brock Hoffman came in, played right guard. You know, Cooper Beebe run around. Instead of pulling the guards, they're pulling the center because Cooper Beebe, in college, he was a pulling guard. He led for Deuce Vaughn his whole time at Kansas State. Played well. You know, these guys, you know, this offensive line, you know, you put these young, hungry dudes in there, man, and they want to play. They want to play. They want to show you that they belong. And, you know, Zach Martin coming toward the end of his career, you know, and who knows, he may retire by the end of the season. He has not had a good year this year. He just hasn't been healthy. But Hoffman comes in, does a pretty bang up job. TJ Bass playing the left guard, playing in place of Tyler Smith, who's the best offensive lineman we got. But he did a good job today. You know, the combination over at the left tackle didn't do terrible, and besides the misalignments and the penalties, you know, they didn't do bad. They did pretty good today. I'm happy with the performance. All right, so what's next? You got the Giants, who got absolutely smoked today. DeVito did not have a good game. They benched Daniel Jones and then let him go off the roster. Now you're stuck with old DeVito over there, and you know, you got an opportunity to win 2 football games in a row. Coming here Thursday, man, be excited. You know, they got some things to grow from. Probably not going to practice much. Probably just do some walkthroughs because the game is Thursday, and then you get another 10-day break, and then you get some guys healthy, man. And you can – this back half of the season, it looks kind of promising. You know, there's some tough games in there. They still got to play Cincinnati, and, you know, Cincinnati, despite their record, it's still Joe Burrow, you know, and it's still Jamar Chase. They still have a pretty high-powered offense. And, you know, you got the Giants. You're going to have to play Washington again. You played them the last game of the season. You got some teams in here. You play Carolina today, who last time I looked, and let me pull it up real quick, they were beating the Chiefs. Let me look that up. Yeah, they were. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I was kind of tuned into this Cowboy game, but I know that they were beating the Chiefs, and that's pretty impressive, you know. Chiefs came back and won at 30-27, but they played the Chiefs tough. They played them real tough. Chiefs find a way to pull out games. They just do. Another surprising score, you know, Titans beat the Texans today. You know, go figure. Buccaneers just beat the Giants 30-7. That's who's coming in here next. Got the Giants. Another winnable football game. I think that they can pull it off. Just got to play hard. So what we'll do is we'll go live Wednesday night, and we'll do everything Wednesday night. We'll talk about, news. We'll talk about some injury reports. Maybe we'll get some players back. You know, and then Thursday right after the game, Thanksgiving Thursday, we'll go live right after the game. I might have a plate of turkey with me while I go live, but we're gonna do it Thursday right after the game. And then after that, Cowboys don't play again to December 9th. So they got a 10-day break. They play the Bengals, then you got the Panthers, and then you got the Buccaneers, who, injury-riddled team, but they've been playing really tough. Then you got the Eagles again. You got to play them in Philly, and then you got the Commanders here at home to end the season. So the schedule, there's some games in there that you can win, right? You can beat the Giants. Bengals, the record says that you could probably beat them, but we know that's a tough football team. The Panthers, man, you got to go to Carolina to play them too. And Bryce Young has been playing decent football these last couple of weeks ever since Andy Dalton got hurt. So, looks like he's kind of established himself as a the starter for Carolina, and they've been playing pretty well with him, and they're playing good defense as well. Then you got the Bucks, you got Philly. We owe Philly one. You got to owe Philly one. And then the Commanders here at home, like even if they're battling for a wild card spot, there'll be nothing sweeter than to knock them out of the wild card, even though I think they'll be in there anyway. But all right, y'all. Wednesday, we'll do a game breakdown, what the Cowboys need to do, keys to victory, what the Giants do well, what maybe the Cowboys can expose that they don't do well. And, kind of starts with them with the quarterback play. Hasn't been very good lately. And that included the starter as well. And, he ended up asking for a release and got released. There was some news that he was on the Cowboys roster for a while, but I think Cooper Rush and maybe even him and Trey Lance might be, about right here. Did see some Trey Lance sightings today. On the first one, I kind of had a feeling they were going to try to run a quarterback sweep with him, and they didn't block it up well at all. But I think, if you get down there, especially in the red zone, and you use him like you flashed it today, if you use him like that in the red zone, it has to be some sort of read option. It has to be. And I think that would be more successful. All right. So Wednesday, we'll go live. Wednesday evening time, we'll go live. I'll do it in between trying to cook food for everybody. And then Thursday, right after the game, like I said, I might have me a big old plate of turkey and be celebrating a Thanksgiving victory. But we'll do it Thursday, and then we'll go live again on Saturday just to kind of line up the week. And then you got the Bengals right after that. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Cowboys pick, Cowboys win again. Thanks, man. This has been a fun Sunday. All right, you guys have a great one. Peace out.